everybody, and welcome to flosstube number 6 with myself, Michelle. I hope you're all having a really nice week. We have been having some really nice weather for the last couple of weeks until last night, really, when it started raining, and today it's quite miserable and raining again. So yeah, hopefully the nice weather will be coming back soon. I've got a few things to show you. I haven't had that much time to do cross stitching in the last couple of weeks. I've been doing a bit of knitting, but I have got something that I started and I've nearly finished, and yeah, we'll go through. And I have got a bit of a kind of product review as well, so I'll start with that. So I bought some of the KCX floss. I bought it off Amazon. It was just under £40 for the, was it 446, however many colours it is. So they came about 2 weeks ago, and I spent an afternoon sorting them all out into bags of the numbers so that they're easier to find. So that's the back, hang on. And just put this just goes in one of my craft drawers, so just pop it in and it's really easy to pull out. And what I've done is I've put them in these food bags from Asda, and then I've just written on the front which numbers they go from. So that's like, there's not many that's like in the sort of 100s. Some of them, as you go further up, like I think it was like the 8s and the 9s, I had to sort of split into 2 bags. So I've got those, and I'll show you what I've stitched with it and then sort of talk about my comparison. So I also bought some, so I don't know if there is actually a difference between the KCS and the CXC ones. Now I bought some CXC ones because I'll just find it. In my previous video I'll put a picture of it here. I think they're called Magic Dolls, and it was from a Ukrainian lady, and I bought this doll cross stitch from her, and I thought because it's only smallish, I thought I will order the CXC ones, which I think were off Etsy, either Etsy or eBay, I can't remember. So those came in all the colours that I'd ordered. I think bar one, I think there's one colour for some reason that I'd missed. So luckily the KCS, whatever they're called, had come. So I just I just pulled it out of there. And then I think, I don't know what that one is. Yeah, so I stitched this. So what I've done with this, because I was sort of whizzing through it, I've taken some pictures of it as it was progressing. So I'll put that on the screen so that you can see it as it was progressing through, because I did actually hope to have this finished by the time I did my next video. But I'm at that stage of doing the back stitching, which is the bit that takes time. So it doesn't take the longest really, but it really does feel like it takes the longest. I hate doing the back stitching. And also, whilst I've been doing the back stitching, I've noticed that there's a couple of stitches around her foot and a dress that needs doing. So this is it so far, and I've got my sort of matching yellow cross stitch, needle minder there. So yeah, I've done her up to there. Really enjoyed doing this, and the colours I think are really nice. The only thing, and I don't think it is the brand, I just think it's the colours that were recommended. The only problem I have is that in the white there is some, I think it's called pearl grey, and the pearl grey doesn't really seem to show up. I've got the same problem on the cat one, you know, the spring cat that I call Frida. It's got the same issue, that the pale grey just doesn't look grey, it looks white, and it kind of just syncs in with the white. So I think in future, when I see pale grey on anything that I'm doing, I may see if I can change it up to something that's slightly more grey, because that's what I've missed, I think, on this bottom bit. So I just need to put those in, and then that's where I was up to stitching around her there. So I've just got to obviously do around her arms, the detail around her feet and a dress, and then put some French knots in. So I think they're black French knots across the dress. Now they have got white French knots on the flower as well, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that or not, because I do like it as it is, and sometimes I think you can overdo things. I'm not sure as well with the French, whether to do the French knots or not, because she might be going in a frame, and if she's going in a frame, people who do cross stitching tell me this, if you put French knots in a frame, does it not flatten them? So the other thing that I did with the KCS was, oh, I've dropped something. Make sure I put that back in, because otherwise I will be looking for that when I'm doing the next lot of back stitching. I think it's this one. Yeah, right. So this one is another Ukrainian lady, and I can't remember. I'll have a look on my iPad in a second. Now I have used the KCS stitches. I keep saying stitches. I'm saying all that M's gone today. It's like a sunflower princess. Again, I'll show what she's supposed to look like up there. But I am a little bit concerned that the colours, I'm going to have to unstitch her head, because you just can't see her head. Because it's another thing I'm going to go into in later on in the video. I actually hand dyed this Ada myself. It's just 14 count white Ada, and I hand dyed this myself. So I thought it would be nice behind her, but obviously when I've come to do her skin tone's a bit yellow, so I'm gonna swap up. I can't make my mind up, because as well I've noticed that I think that green, even though it's light green, might be a little bit too light, because you can't see some of the flecks of the sunflower. But now that I'm looking at it again, because I've been away from it and come back to it, I don't think it's as bad. But then again, I've not done all the green around there, so I don't know whether I'm gonna frog it and start again. We'll see. But what I will say about the KCS and the CXC threads is that I think they're a brilliant alternative if you can't afford the DMCs or the Anchor, because I think for a skein of this it was only like about 30p or something like that, whereas like DMC's like 79, 80p. So it is a big difference. I think if you're doing more sort of whimsical things, it doesn't matter so much. But I think if you was doing something that needs a lot of see, like the magic doll, she's whimsical, so I don't think it matters, and this is more whimsical, cartoonish, I would say. So I think with these you don't need to worry so much. But I think if you were doing something that was like a landscape or something like that, which maybe had something that's got like a lot of shading in it, then you might have problems. And one thing I noticed, it does feel a bit more coarse, especially on Ada. It's not as bad on linen, but on Ada it does feel more coarse. But it doesn't seem to, you know, when you're stitching and you get it all sort of like knotted at the back because it all congeals at the back or something. It doesn't seem to do that. I don't know whether it's just maybe I'm improving on not doing that, or if it is the actual floss. I don't know, but that is something that I have noticed. Now I've enjoyed stitching with it, and the you know, there's so many colours, so much vibrant colours. The only thing I would say is, when you do come to kit up, which I'll show you another one in a minute, where the colours, I've done the exact colours. This is a frosted pumpkin one. I don't think I'd started this when I did the last video. So this is, I think it's called Maple Lane. And again, I've used the called for DMC equivalent in the KCS, but at first, and I think the colours look really nice, but now that I've started to stitch quite a bit more of it, I'm thinking they're a little darker than what they look on the actual picture. But I don't know if on the actual picture, if they've used the, is it Cosmic or Cosmo or something? I think it's Cosmic ones. So this is what I've done so far on my Maple Lane. And this is my first attempt on stitching on linen. And I have to say I'm loving it. This, I think it's, I don't know whether it's 32 or 28. I think it's 28 count. And it's DMC linen. I can't remember the name of the actual thing. I showed it in one of my previous videos in a haul. But I really like this so far. So that's obviously going to be a coffee shop. And we've got a little lady here. She's sat having her coffee. And then this is the start of a tree. This is the canopy over the coffee shop. This is a, what is it now? A phone box. But the phone box on the picture's a bit lighter in colour. Like I say, all the colours just seem to be a bit darker than what they are on the actual picture. And I did go wrong with the table. I picked up the wrong brown. So that was my fault. So that table should have been a little bit darker, but I was like, I'm not frogging it. I refuse, I'm not doing it with this one. So, but I'm really, really enjoying that one. And again, I've took some pictures, so I'll pop the video in of that coming along. I really like the Frosted Pumpkin one. I have another Frosted Pumpkin one I've not started yet, which is Red Riding Hood, which was a Sal. But I'm not in with the Sal. It's like the Caterpillar cross stitch Sal. I'm behind with that. Haven't done anything on that, so I'm just leaving it. But going back to these nice sounding KCS and CS. No, I'm gonna get it wrong. CXC. Like I say, if you're doing whimsical stuff, or stuff that hasn't got lots of shading in it, it's probably fine. Or you could maybe, if you've got the whole pack like I have, maybe just have a look at the colours before you start stitching. Or if you notice as you stitch that looks a little light or a little dark, maybe have a look at the colours sort of either side of it. If you're kind of thinking, I don't know how to do that, you can get lists on the internet, but it is the DMC one. But I've got an actual DMC list of the colours and the colour chart. It shows you. You can buy, I mean, you probably download them for free, but I bought one. It was only like £1 or so. And you can also do a list of what DMC, so you can keep a track of what DMC or whatever, you know, that floss that you've got. I'll probably never keep up. Best laid plans to be organised, but I know I won't. So I'm not even going to attempt to do that. The other stitching wise, so I've shown you my 3 starts from last time. And then I don't think that I've done anything else on my little mouse, but I'm going to get him out just in case I have. So that's where I'm up to on my little mousey. The mushroom's coming along at the bottom now. I could have been up to there last time, I can't remember. But I want to get him, he's one of the ones I want to get finished the fastest. I've also worked on, I don't know if it's in here, where have I put it? Yes, Caravan Fun, which is the Boppy Threads. I haven't done much on this one. All I've literally done is just put that bit in, I think, of the sky. It's the sky in the mountains. Because I'm thinking, why am I putting green in the sky? the way the picture works, it's the sky and the mountains. So yeah, I've done a couple of stitches. I say a couple of stitches, it was quite a few stitches, but it's like a full coverage one that is getting me a bit down, because I know once I've done it all as well, I might do some of the back stitching as I'm going along, actually, just to sort of do something slightly different now that like most of that side of the caravan's done. Or I might do the rest of the caravan and then back stitch that. But yeah, I did that, so that's in there. And then the other one that I've been doing, this one is very confetti like, so it is taking me a while to do it, but I love it, and this is one I really want to get finished, but I know it's going to take me a while, even though it's not massive. And it's the fox, and it just doesn't look like I've done anything on it, but I've sat for a while stitching. I was watching a documentary on Netflix on I think it was I always get them mixed up, I think it was the Challenger. I do know the story of both the Challenger and Columbia, but I always find it interesting to watch the documentaries, because there's always something on that you've not seen. And there was this one on Netflix. It actually had a lot of footage from the 70s of the people who went on the Challenger. And then obviously the teacher who came in to go on the Challenger, a lot of stuff that I hadn't seen before, so that was interesting. So I was watching that whilst I was stitching this. So I don't know if that's a good memory to remember that, but I've done this bit here. As far as I'm aware, that's what I've stitched on the fox. So this is the bottom bit of obviously the flowers. So that's what I've been doing stitchy wise. Then I did do some dyeing. I did a bit of experimenting with dyeing. Oh, and I've also got, before I show that, just my haul. It's not very big, not very exciting. I bought some black 14 count Ada. My plan for this is I want a sign in my kitchen that says home, and I want to stitch in white the home bit on this, and then I want to put like fabric behind it. I've not made my mind up if I'm going to do each letter separate or if I'm going to put them all together. And if I put them all together, I don't know if they're going to go downwards or if they're going to go in like a square. Not made my mind up, which is why the Ada is still there, because I'm still kind of deciding what I'm going to do with that. And then I bought this, which is DMC Annabelle 28 count 100% cotton even weave fabric, and it's called Golden Sand. Oops, it's in a couple of bags. There we go. So that's it. It looks a bit more yellow actually on the screen, probably because of my lights. It is a little bit more golden. In reality, it does look a bit more yellow on the screen, but I saw that and I really liked it, and it was the last one. I think it was on eBay, that, and I thought I'll kick myself if I don't get that and it sells out. So even though I don't know what I'm doing with it yet, but I love yellow. A lot of my stuff in the house currently is yellow, so I'll probably use it for that. And then also in the last video, I don't know if you remember me saying that I bought these glasses. These, if I didn't have these, I would not be able to stitch on linen, because I would not be able to see the holes. This is the actual magnification is the lowest one, so at least I know I'm not like completely blind. But yeah, I honest to God, these have been an absolute godsend, and also for my knitting, especially when I come to sew things up, because I make toys, and the toys are normally knitted on very smaller needles, so it's hard sometimes to see for sewing up your knitted items. So these, honestly, I've not used it with the light. It is a little bit heavy, but I have seen some that I might purchase that you just put I think it's like hearing aid batteries in, so it won't be, and like I say, this is heavy and it hasn't even got the batteries in it, but I tend to use my ring light that I'm using, well, I've got 2 ring lights. I tend to use one of my ring lights that I have for videoing, because then I can move that around. And I also I use my rechargeable battery power pack thing. So I'm just, if you're wondering what I'm doing, the dog, he didn't want to come, by the way, onto the video today, Charlie. I think he's upset with me because I dragged him out in the rain, even though if he wanted to come back, he was perfectly entitled to come back. He could have come back of his own accord, but he didn't. And then we went on the bridle way where I live. There's a lot of equestrian centres, so you will quite often see horses, and he normally doesn't bother with the horses, but there was like one that was a bit more like a pony. It was a smaller horse, and he was absolutely fascinated by it. He was just in total awe. I don't know what it was, whether or not it was because he was like, it's not as big as normal, I don't know, but he was making me laugh. He was really funny. He was funny last night as well. I went to my dad's for my piano lesson, because long story why I'm going to my dad's for my piano lesson. I've probably never said that I have piano lessons as well. I do. I have piano lessons. I started piano lessons back in October 2019, I think it was. Obviously, we've had a gap because of the pandemic. But I'm having my piano lessons at the moment at my dad's. We normally go to a church, but we was at my dad's, where my piano is at my dad's at the moment. And as I went out, and it wasn't raining, and it was lovely. And then just as we were about to leave, it started raining. But it wasn't just raining, it was hammering it down. It was like bouncing back up, you know. And I thought, I know Charlie's not going to want to go out. And I didn't really want to go out in it because I didn't have my coat or umbrella or anything. And me and my piano teacher, and I know he watches my videos, so I'll say, hello, Dean. We ran out to the car, and I opened the door and I turned around, and the dog's running back in. Back into the house, and my dad going, oh no, I'm not going out in that rain. I'm getting sopping wet. So I had to run back for him and drag him into the car, and he sulked, I think, all the way home. He was not happy with his mummy for making him go out in there, but it was hammering it down. So I don't blame him. Today, it's kind of just more sort of just a little light rain. So he had the choice, because I opened the door and say to him, it is raining, what do you want to do? And he went out. So yeah, but he's lay on the floor today. So, but I have got a video of when we went to Chester about 2 weeks ago now. So I'm going to put that on at the end of the video, because it's a couple of minutes long. So I thought I'll not put it at the beginning, in case you don't want to watch it. But if you do want to see a bit of Charlie walking around Chester, and a little bit of Chester, it's not loads of Chester, because we only went late. We only really went just to have a quick walk around, have a nice meal in a pub, have a little bit more of a little walk around, and come back and go in the model shop and have a nosy in the model shop, because I like going in there. But Charlie as well, he was allowed in the model shop, and it has an upstairs, but he wouldn't let me go upstairs. Maybe he knew that there was stuff up there that I'd want to spend loads of money on, and he was like, I'm going to save you money, mummy. I don't know. But yeah, so he's probably not going to make an appearance today, because he looks exceptionally comfy where he is. If he's still there at the end of the video, I'll move around, but my camera stand is broke, so I don't want to move the camera, because then it'll take me ages to get it back. I need to buy a new one. So I've completely lost my trail of thought now. Oh, dyeing. Yeah, so I bought some different dyes. I bought some of the RIT dyes, and I bought some other dyes that I cannot remember the name of, so I'll pop the name across the bottom here. And then I had some dyes that I got, I think I showed them in the last video. Again, I can't remember what they are. They're supposed to be for tie-dyeing, I think. So I bought some, is it Zygarde? 28 count white linen. And so some of these are that, and some of these are 14 count white Ada that's been dyed. And I also did dye some, in fact I'll show you those first. I dyed some with the I've got to get it right, walnut ink, yes, to give it that sort of weathered effect. So these are the ones that I did, and they're not going to look the same because of the light. In fact, I'm just wondering if I can turn. I'll be right back. Okay, so it's a little bit better now for you to be able to see this. So it's not brilliant. This is probably, I think this is the lightest one. This is the, what was the white 18 count Ada. See if I can put anything behind it so that you can see it a bit better. I know it's not white, but what I've put behind it. You're just seeing the yellow probably through that. I need to bring something down in future for you to see, but so that's that one. And then, so yeah, I think you can see that they're a bit of a different colour. And I just kept experimenting. That one's got a little bit more, see, actually, it looks more muckled on the camera than what it is. This one I think is a bit darker. Again, it looks more mottled on the camera. And then this big piece here. Now my husband came in and I had them all hanging up on the mason in the kitchen, and I said to him, what do you think of my dyeing? And he went, are they supposed to look like that? I give up. Would I say, what do you think of it? If it was a disaster, I'd say, don't look at that. So yeah, so it's like, yeah. He's looked at me and he's like, why do you want it to look like it's all old? And I said, that's the idea, trust me. When everything's done, so I'm probably going to use them for like more kind of maybe shabby chic style, and some what is it called, Halloween style. Then I did, these are on the Zweigart or whatever it's called, 28 count. So this one, I used the Ritz dye on this one. I think it was caramel and chocolate brown I used on this one. And I'm thinking of using this one for the Frosted Pumpkin Little Red Riding Hood one. But I'm not sure. I wished I hadn't cut it as much as I did actually. I'm not sure if it's going to be too small, and I'm just a bit worried about, because I would like to put it in a Q-snap. I do like, well, it's not actual Q-snap, it's somebody else's version. So yeah, but I was experimenting, so if it doesn't work out, I mean, it is bigger than the piece that I was supposed to do it on, but I just, in case I don't want to stitch loads and then it not be big enough. And then this one, I think I just did this with the caramel. That one's a bit bigger, so I'm pondering whether or not to do, because that's a bit bigger even though it's lighter, to do the little red on that instead. I don't know, I'm not sure. And then this is one of the ones that I can't remember the name of. I'll put the name on the bottom. I think there's 3 colours in that. I think there's a purple, and then a purpley pink and a blue. And just kind of like put it in a bowl and swish it round, and then you put it in the oven, kind of crinkle it up and put it in the oven. I will do a video at one point once I've sort of got my head around what I'm doing, because I was just experimenting, so I didn't do a video because I didn't know if it's going to work. So that's another one that I did. This one I am going to use for, I think it's called Fibre or Fibery Friends, which is a Frosted Pumpkin pattern that I've got. So I think I'm going to use that for that one. And then I did an orange one to do a Halloween one on, but I've not decided yet on the Halloween pattern. So that's that. And then this is the other, so I showed you earlier the Ukrainian Sunflower like lady. This is one of the pieces that I dyed, and it's slightly different on each side as well. The other one's more so, I think it's a bit lighter on one side than the other. This is, I think this was the paints. It must have been the paints. Yeah, it must have been the paints, that one. And you seal the colour in by ironing it. So yeah, so I promise I will do a video of what I did and what I've used. But to be honest, I've got my ideas from other people on YouTube, so I don't want to look like I'm just saying, oh, I've made this up. No, in fact, if you really want to see a good video on this, Mama Loves You GB, she's got a fantastic channel, and she does a lot of videos with dyeing. I'm just going to change my lighting again because on my camera it's flashing on and off a bit. I don't know whether you'll notice it on the video afterwards, but it's bugging me a bit. So I'm just gonna change the lighting back up again, so it won't be a minute. So, oh, I think Charlie's coming up. Hello. Here he is. Oh, he's just out of view. Let's see if we can get you in view. Let's just see. Oops. I'm worried about this falling off here. Hello. Have you had enough of sleeping on the floor? Have you? What have you been doing? Oh, you got the burps. What are you doing? Hey? He's a handsome boy. Right. So, yeah, so Mama Loves You GB, which is another Michelle. She has got quite a lot of it. This is where I've got all these ideas from, and where I've got these brands from that I've used. So she's really, and I love what she does. She does a video normally every Sunday. She calls it the Sunday morning briefing. That I think is really funny. And also I thought I would mention some YouTubers floss tubers that I've been watching. And I want to do a big shout out to Lindsay of Blushing Pink Stitches. I started watching her videos. I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I think she's just done her floss tube number 7, so I think she's just ahead of me on the floss tubes. Not that it's a competition. And she's got some really nice stuff that she's stitched. She's doing designs that I like and some things that are different to what I would do. She's doing the I'm trying to think what it is, the Modern Folk Embroideries stitch along from last year that I am doing, but it's gone wrong and I'm going to frog it, and I might change the linen that I'm going to do it on. So yeah, I'll put Lindsay's description in underneath. She's really nice. She's got some really nice work. She's had some finishes, unlike me so far. Yeah, so watch Lindsay's channel. She's really nice. And also, yeah, thanks for mentioning me. And obviously she mentioned Charlie. So Charlie says, hello, Lindsay. Thank you for talking about me. And a lady that I only found yesterday, and there's loads of floss tubers that I watch. I won't always remember to mention them because I start doing my video. I have all my ideas like when I'm cooking tea or walking the dog, and I think, oh, I'll say this, I'll talk about this and that, and then I get on here and I don't do any of it, and there's no point me writing a list because I won't look at it, so there's no point me doing that. But I started watching Java Girl Stitches yesterday, and she just does the most amazing finishes on stuff that I've ever seen. She likes to put bows on everything as well. So if you've never, and I bet you have heard of her because she's got about 12,000 viewers or something. 12. Oh, I'm no good with numbers. She's got a lot of subscribers to her channel, so you probably have seen her. And sometimes she does like a house tour and you just see all her decor, and I just love it. That's how I want my house to, that's my plan. But I think I'll never be able to. I don't know how people do the stitching. So I am a slow stitcher. I just am. if I tried to stitch fast, it'd end up a mess. I'd end up going wrong. Or when I do sometimes think, oh, I'm getting a bit faster, and then I go wrong. So yeah. So big shout out to those two. Love your channels. And there's one more. I've just remembered. There's one more piece of fabric that I dyed that I forgot to show you. It's this one. This I dyed 2 colours like this. So the plan is, I'll show you the actual thing I'm stitching on it. So this is the bottom, which is supposed to be grass, and this is the top that's supposed to be I'm just thinking which is the right way round. I think that's the right way. That's the sky, and there is a little bit of white in it that's clouds, but I don't know if you can see it very well. Right, so this is what I'm calling Dad's Shed, and it's from a magazine. Now I've got a subscription to Readily, which is fantastic. If you've not got Readily, get it, because you can get all different magazines. You pay, I think it's $7.99 a month, and you think like, yeah, you get a cross-stitch magazine. They're normally around £6 to £8, depending on what you buy. And sometimes you get them and there's only one thing in it you like. So Readily, you've got, I mean, I do knitting and I do, hello? He's just woofed because somebody went past the window. We don't have a very big area at the front of the house, so the, in fact, this, you might back again because, yeah. There's people going past. The the pavement is literally just outside the window because we have a bay window as well. So that's what he's barking at. He's barking at the workmen who've been working on the houses that are just around the corner, because we're on a new estate. If you've not seen any of my previous videos, we're on a brand new estate that's still being built. So yeah, he's just barking. He's just letting us know, aren't you? You're just letting us know that there's some people going past. Yeah? Yeah. Okay. So, Dad's Shed. Just find it. So this is in a magazine on the Readly app, and I want to do this for Father's Day, but I know it's going to end up being Christmas, but I don't know which Christmas. So I want to do this for my dad. Yeah. And then whilst I'm on here, I'll show you it is called Miss Sunflower, that one that I was on about before. I've probably put the picture up, but I just thought I would. And it's from Stitchy Princess on Etsy, that one. And I think that was it for what I wanted to show you on there. And then the only other thing that I think I've got to talk about, might be something else, is knitting. So if you don't want to know about knitting, do not know. So I did put this on my Instagram page. I'm not very technical, so if you ever do like send me a message or anything like that on it on Instagram, I am rubbish with how Instagram works. So you know, I'm not being rude. It's like with YouTube. Sometimes YouTube messages get held, and I didn't know they were there, and then I found some messages I didn't know, and I felt really rude to the people who'd sent them, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I've only just seen this. But so this is my little rabbit that I bought the pattern off Etsy, and she's got embroidered flowers on her, and she's got a little tail as well, and a ribbon. Now her ribbon was a lighter orange, but I wanted a darker orange to match what's inside her little flowers. And I opened the cupboard to see which dyes I got, and I realised I'd kept some orange dye from doing the orange one out of the things that I showed you before, and I thought, I wonder if that'll turn it the orange I want. So I left it in there for about half an hour because it was only a little bit. So I left it in there for half an hour, pulled it out, and I was like, well, it has gone darker, but I'm not sure if it's the right colour. And then it dried really quickly because of the fabric that it's made of. And then I was like, yeah, perfect. So I'm really pleased with her. I just think she's absolutely gorgeous. I just need to perfect my stitching up. It's loads better than it has been. I also put her ears purposely slightly to the side because I just thought it was a bit more quirky to do that. The ears going to the side. I also deviated slightly from the pattern. On the actual pattern, I'll show you on another one that I've done. That flower's more like that flower, that it's a closed flower, but I just decided I wanted to do 3 flowers on her tummy. So she's currently in my lounge where I am now. She's sitting on my sideboard, and she has pride of place. I absolutely adore her. I did get somebody, I'm in a face group page to do with knitting and crochet, and I can't remember the full title, but the end of it is like for a like. And I put her on and loads of people were like, oh, she's really nice and everything. And then one person I showed it to my son and he said she had a sad face. I was like, oh, I don't think she's got a sad face. Maybe she looks a bit surprised, but I don't think she has a sad face. I don't know. But the pattern, unfortunately, is no longer available because the person who made the pattern lives in Russia, and Etsy and Ravelry have closed all the shops of people that live in Russia. So unfortunately, I am looking out to see if she does, because sometimes some of the Russian designers have got shops now on Boosty. Never heard of Boosty before. I've got to kind of figure out how to work Boosty, but I have managed to get on and get a rabbit pattern that I wanted from another lady. And she's, you know, it's a shame because she's put herself, she said, I've got relatives myself in the Ukraine, you know, but unfortunately because of where she lives, it's one of those, it's catch-22, isn't it? You can see it from both sides. It's just poor people, everyday people, isn't it, that suffer. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it. So yeah, so I am still looking. So as soon as I ever see the pattern, I will put it in the description. So if you're watching this video in the future, if I've found the pattern, I will put it in so that you can do it, because she's got some lovely patterns. I made the pumpkin. I think I've got him on a video somewhere, I think. If not, I'll put a picture of him in, of the pumpkin that I made. And I've also done her in blue. I've just got to go to the range in the next couple of days and get her bow, because I haven't got the right colour. So she's got the design how it was, more sort of, it's not a perfect match to the design, because I want more, so I did the eyebrows a little bit different on this one to try and make them just look slightly different, so they've all got their own little unique personalities. And her ears, I think, are a little bit more towards me, but I still did them slightly off. And then I'm making another one in purple, and that's where I'm up to with this one. The arms and the ears are, and the tail are knitted, but yeah, so she's partially done, and I just love this pattern. Her head seems a little bit lower down though than the others. I don't know whether I pulled her neck a bit. You kind of sew around, the neck is attached, it's a full one sheet. It's not a sheet, is it? You knit one leg, then you knit the other leg, then you join the legs, and then you decrease to go in at the neck, and then you increase again, and then you decrease again at the head. So she is one piece, but when you are sewing her up, you sew round the neck and then you pull it tight. But she just seemed to it's as well, I've noticed on I always have to point out what's wrong. The body's a bit of a funny shape on this one as well. I think it's where I've sewed the arms on, but it gives them character and makes them all unique, so I'm not going to worry about it. And this one is for a friend of mine, so I know she won't bother. She'll love it. I've done it in this colour because she has like a beach theme in her house, and she has things that are blue and green, you know, that very sort of beach, like subtle blues and greens, and that's why I also chose the green. I did on this one because the green on the actual original one of these I think was like more green than that, but the only green I had was a Christmas green and I felt it was too green, so yeah, so we've got that. I don't know if you can hear, but Charlie is actually snoring his head off. He isn't snoring loudly though, because he can. If he starts snoring loudly, we won't be able to hear anything. And I think that is everything. I think I've talked for quite a while, so I think I should leave you now. So I'm going to put the video on of our visit to Chester, and I hope you all have a nice time until my next video. Hopefully by my next video I will have a finish. It might not be a fully finished object, but at least everything on the actual Ada will be finished. And I hope you all have a lovely time until then. Stay safe, stay well. See you. Bye.